Today's list is all about anime teachers who don't just grade papers. They rewrite power scaling. From lazy geniuses to god-tier mentors, these overpowered sensei will school students, villains, and even entire universes without breaking a sweat. Kicking off with number 10, Akashic Records of Bastard Magic. Instructor Glenn Radars is the guy your mom warns you about when she says, "Don't trust lazy men." He shows up to class late, complains constantly, and sometimes naps mid-lesson. You'd think, this guy shouldn't even be allowed near a chalkboard. But here's the trick. Glenn isn't lazy. He's dangerously competent. When danger hits, he drops the whole bum act and reveals he's secretly one of the sharpest magic users alive. The fun part about Glenn is how he constantly trolls both his students and enemies. One second, he's mocking your spell work like a bad stand-up comedian. And the next, he's dismantling you with unconventional magic strategies. He's not the noble, inspiring type. He's the teacher who'll roast you into crying, then clap the villain threatening your life without lifting a finger. OP characters are often uptight, but Glenn is proof that being overpowered doesn't mean being serious. It can mean being petty, sarcastic, and hilarious, while still being 10 steps ahead. Sliding to number 9, Assassination Classroom. Koro Sensei is what happens when you take a smiley face emoji, give it Mach 20 speed, and tell students to kill it before graduation. The premise alone is insane. These problem kids are tasked with assassinating their teacher, who also casually threatens to blow up Earth. Sounds like a comedy, but then it hits you. This dude is actually the most wholesome teacher in anime history. Sure, he can dodge bullets, survive nukes, and flex tentacles like it's a circus act. But his real power isn't his ridiculous speed or regeneration. It's his emotional impact. Koro Sensei takes kids who've been rejected by the education system and turns them into confident, skilled assassins who can also, pass exams. The duality of being an unstoppable monster and the best mentor you'll ever meet makes him unforgettable. You laugh at his antics, you're hyped at his fights, and then, bam! The emotional gut punches remind you that not all lessons are about textbooks. Landing on number 8, Great Teacher Onizuka. Now let's talk about Eikichi Onizuka, the human definition of chaos. Onizuka isn't slinging fireballs or summoning dragons. His overpowered ability is pure insanity and unbreakable confidence. He's a former biker gang leader with 0 teaching qualifications, yet somehow becomes the ultimate role model. How? By being absolutely unpredictable. Onizuka solves student problems with tactics so ridiculous they shouldn't work, but they do. He'll expose corrupt adults, stop bullies in their tracks, and pull insane stunts that should get him arrested, yet somehow leave everyone better off. His power comes from charisma and ridiculous plot armor. He falls off buildings, survives explosions, and walks away like it's just another Tuesday. What makes Onizuka OP isn't strength, it's his ability to connect with students nobody else can reach. He doesn't just lecture, he lives the chaos, dragging his students along until they face their demons head-on. He's reckless, outrageous, and unstoppable, making him one of the most legendary teachers in anime. Looking at number 7, Denpa Kyoshi. Junichiro Kagami is the teacher every hardcore gamer and anime fan secretly wishes they had. On paper, he's a genius physicist with a brain that could change the world. In reality, he'd rather blog about anime and grind in MMORPGs than even think about real work. So when he's forced into teaching, he doesn't suddenly become strict. He brings his otaku brain to the classroom. What makes him overpowered isn't magic or brute force. It's how he uses his insane intellect to twist every situation into a gamer logic lesson. Got a bully? He'll dismantle their ego like a side quest. Student with no motivation? He'll show them how to treat life like a skill tree. Kagami's teaching style is basically, if Dark Souls prepared me for life, it can prepare you too. He's not your classic mentor. He's lazy, sarcastic, and way too obsessed with anime culture. But his ability to reframe reality through nerd logic makes him a surprisingly overpowered teacher in his own right. Sliding into number 6, Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's be real. Gojo Satoru is the reason half the fan base watches Jujutsu Kaisen. He's tall, he's smug, he rocks a blindfold like it's designer wear, and his power levels are so absurd they break the story if he's on screen too long. Infinity Barrier? Hollow Purple? He's basically the cheat code every villain hates. But what really cements Gojo as an OP teacher is how he balances his trolling personality with insane skill. He treats curses like minor inconveniences and villains like comedy props, all while flexing the biggest grin in anime. Students look up to him not just because he's strong, but because he makes being strong fun. Gojo is the modern poster child for the overpowered mentor archetype, and he knows it. Every fight he's in becomes a spectacle. He doesn't just teach, he sets the standard so high that even Yuji's demon roommate looks underwhelming. Stylish, untouchable, and dripping with confidence, Gojo owns this category. Dropping to number 5, a certain magical index. The teachers in a certain magical index aren't always in traditional classrooms, but they definitely mentor, and they're ridiculously OP while doing it. Take Kanzaki Kaori. She's part nun, part swordswoman, part absolute powerhouse, and somehow still finds time to guide others. The beauty of Index is how it blends sorcery and science into its battles, making the mentors feel more like reality-warping professors than normal teachers. These instructors casually bend the rules of physics, throwing spells and miracles around while explaining the logic mid-battle. It's like having a teacher who lectures you while blowing up half the city. The vibe is, don't just take notes, duck when I swing my blade. Sure, the series can get info-dumpy, but the teachers are what ground it. They're mentors with terrifying power who still carry themselves like they're just giving casual lessons, which somehow makes them even scarier. When a professor can level buildings, you pay attention in class. Dropping into number 4, Sakamoto Days. Alright, this one bends the rules a bit, but hear me out. Sakamoto is basically a retired teacher of the assassin world. He was once the most feared hitman in Japan, but after falling in love, he retires to run a convenience store. Cute, right? Except enemies keep showing up, and he handles them like swatting flies. What makes Sakamoto such an OP mentor is how effortlessly he outclasses everyone. He's overweight, laid back, and constantly juggling family life, but the second things go sideways, boom! His instincts kick in and he dismantles assassins with grocery store props. Watching him train or guide others is hilarious, because he doesn't even treat it like a challenge. The best part? The comedy. He'll be stacking shelves one second and teaching assassins why they should have stayed home the next. Sakamoto proves you don't need to look like Gojo to be terrifying. Sometimes dad bod plus assassin instincts equals unstoppable sensei energy. Zooming to number 3, My Hero Academia's Shota Aizawa, aka Eraserhead, might be the most realistic teacher on this list. He's tired, constantly wrapped in a scarf, and survives on the energy of a man who gave up on sleep years ago. But don't let the exhaustion fool you. He's a stone-cold beast. His quirk erases others' powers, instantly turning flashy villains into confused clowns. What makes Aizawa stand out isn't just his quirk, it's his teaching style. He's brutally honest with students, tearing down their egos while building them back up stronger. He doesn't waste words, doesn't sugarcoat, and doesn't need theatrics. He's proof that being OP isn't about explosions. It's about shutting you down with a stare and still having energy left to grade papers. Aizawa is the sensei every hero needs, but nobody wants, because he'll make you work harder than ever. He's not flashy, but his reliability and tactical genius put him in the upper echelon of overpowered mentors. Sliding into number 2, the Eminence in Shadow. Sid Kageno might be the most ridiculous entry here, because half the time he doesn't even realize how overpowered he is. He wants to roleplay as a background character who secretly manipulates everything from the shadows, and somehow his delusions line up with real conspiracies. The result? He looks like the most brilliant mastermind alive while just having fun. The comedy is insane. He'll give some dramatic fake speech, thinking it's all a joke, and his followers take it as divine truth. He's teaching and mentoring without even realizing it. His OP nature is absurd. He casually wipes out threats while pretending it's all part of his role-playing game. Sid is what happens when you mix parody with raw power. He's not trying to be a teacher, but ends up being one by accident, guiding his shadow garden like a clueless god. That blend of self-awareness and ridiculous strength makes him one of the funniest OP mentors in anime. Finally, landing at number 1, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Rimuru Tempest takes the top spot because they redefine what it means to be an overpowered mentor. Starting as a regular office worker turned slime, Rimuru evolves into a literal god being who doesn't just mentor individuals, they guide entire civilizations. From teaching goblins how to build societies to mentoring monsters into full-blown heroes, Rimuru embodies the ultimate sensei role. What makes Rimuru special isn't just the broken power set, copying abilities, annihilating enemies, summoning dragons. It's the compassion. They uplift allies instead of overshadowing them, spreading knowledge while still being the scariest thing on the battlefield. Rimuru can casually dunk on world-ending threats, then return to teaching Slime Nation economics like it's just another Tuesday. This is peak OP teacher energy, a mentor who is kind, approachable, funny, and terrifying when provoked. Rimuru balances power and heart perfectly, which is why they deserve the crown on this list. And there you have it, 10 anime where teachers don't just lecture, they dominate the power charts. From sarcastic trolls to godlike mentors, these overpowered sensei prove class is never boring. Which one's your favorite? Drop your answer below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more anime breakdowns. Until then, class dismissed, anime style.